And there you go. We are live.
Hey there, tribe. Welcome back to Live on Wednesdays. It's been a little bit and we've missed you, but we're going to get busy in the shop tonight and make some glitter and hopefully turn out some sharp, pointy things. So please send us your questions. If you have anything you want to see, let us know. My beautiful daughter, who's running camera for us,
as always,
we'll be monitoring the comments. And when a question comes in, as you know, she comes over to us and then lets us know, and we answer it right then. So, Jason, what you going to be working on tonight?
I'll be working on a knife handle on that blade right there.
Is this the first time Jason's been on live?
No.
No? Second?
But we haven't put him on the spot until today. And Brian, what are you going to be working on, Brother Brian?
well, I'll tell you what, Brother Brian has got, I'm going to get, let me see, I think this one is ready for handle that we finished the other day. So I'm going to take this off the jig, I'm going to put this on the jig, and we're going to do some beveling, and it is our hope that we can get this to this, and Saturday,
Yep.
we can do some beautiful handles, which of course I'm going to have to bring my sister Kira in for her, what you think on this handle, sis? What you think on this handle, sis?
And after she thinks she's chosen, we'll show her some more.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely.
Hey,
So that's my
Nothing like
project.
making my life difficult.
That's right. That's my project for tonight.
hey Scott Claus, I hear you seasoned the blade.
Yeah.
How'd that
A little
go?
bit of seasoning. Oh, that went awesome.
So when we say seasoning, we really mean carving up meat.
Meat,
Right?
real
You
meat.
can-
yes.
Well,
You can
it
almost
was dead
see the meat remnants
Bear.
on there.
It's
bear, deer. Oh yeah,
nice.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get to work and shout out with any questions.
Alright, I'm going to figure this out
All right,
real
so
quick.
Chip, we left this one on the jig because we are complete. You told me that we're ready for a handle on that, and you told me to leave it on the jig,
Yep.
and then we're gonna, so everything was the same.
Yep. Exactly. So we protected that one for you.
Correct. So I'm gonna take that one off
Yep.
and put this one on,
Yep.
and then I'll put it on the belt. 120.
120 is good. Yep. You know what? Let me see that one again. Let's start with 80 on that one.
80. Okay.
Yep, 80 on that one. Scott, I'm gonna put you on the Ameribraid tonight.
I'm just doing sharpening.
Yep, that's the one you want to sharpen with. But we've got Jason on the Wilmot, and he's gonna be on the shredder, so you can be on my baby.
And I need
Ew. Ew.
What you looking for? Oh, yep. Okay, so actually, let's go ahead and do that. I have to share this out real quick
I was going to
here.
say, if you don't mind, I would do it on mine, but I'm using my phone this time.
Yep.
So if you guys are watching, whoever is watching, just do me a favor and interact, definitely. Comment, share the video out.
Tell your friends.
The more reach, the better. Also, as I say, turn that down.
Yeah,
Nobody
no
needs
kidding.
to hear me talking twice.
Oh, we absolutely need to hear you talking all the time. All right, so now I think I'm gonna need your help here. There's the live, and I'm looking for the.
Go to the watch live, and then I don't know where your share button is.
I know it was there last time. Where's that? Nope, that's not it.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Here, I'll trade you. You take
Yep,
that and
I
go
will
walk
take
around
this.
for a second.
Chuck is your cameraman. So here we go. Ready? Everyone get dizzy? There we go.
This is why I can't anything.
Looks like you're getting a new road.
All right. Yeah, we are. And they don't care when they do it or who's impacted by it. Hey, Scott, we're going to have to carry you upstairs.
Actually, I might have to leave early.
Oh, yeah? That should be
I gotta
interesting.
go help my son.
If you can actually make it up the stairs, then we'll let you leave.
Oh, I can make it up the stairs. You've not seen me drink.
Hey, your hair and your whiskers have grown back well, my friend.
Yeah.
I know. We need
Your
you.
granddaughter who was there during the shaving, that's growing fast. That's growing fast.
Right.
You shaved?
Huh?
So was she terrified when you shaved?
So when I lost my hair during cancer, it grew back. Fortunately, it grew back. It grew back with color. And then my son hit teenage years,
Oh.
and all the color went away again.
Huh. It grew back darker?
No, it grew back like super blonde, but
Okay.
and now I'm all salt and pepper again.
What was it before you lost it?
I can't.
Dark blonde.
Okay.
Help me out again. Which one do I want to start?
Those are Dan, so you're gonna want mine. So we're gonna start.
Good stuff. Now,
Let me see the edge.
there is no edge.
Where you've got an edge, it's just not a sharp edge. What I'm looking at is the thickness. So for that, I would start with a 220. Because what we're looking at here.
Gentleman from Silverback Creations says hello.
Hi. Let's see here. Let's see. So 220. If it were thicker than that, I'd say start with a 120.
Okay.
But because you've already almost to an edge there, let's start with a 220, and then we'll buff it with 1,000.
That's the gentleman with the dragons.
Have you got?
Oh, hey.
No, not right now.
Yay! Good to see you. Tasha absolutely loved the dragon. It's sitting on our headboard now, and she also carries it around occasionally on her shoulder. So, win-win. Thank you so much.
Hey, Chuck, do you remember the website where I got my mosaic pins at? I got them. You didn't get them. Do you remember what it was?
It was an Etsy page, I believe.
Okay.
Well, I'll send it to you. It's actually I can't remember the guy's name, Zelly or something. But he does both custom.
Hi,
he's got
Wallace.
Etsy
Hi,
page.
Jeremy.
He's got.
I hope I see you soon, Wallace.
How many designs he has?
When you get your maker's mark figured out,
I'm working on that right now.
Did you want some ice with your
send
bourbon?
it to him. You can actually do it extruded into a mosaic. Check
Look
this
at
out.
this.
Yeah, I've seen some.
That's bourbon. That's a cup of bourbon.
I'm sure I showed you the latest.
All right. He says, thank you for the knife. I just used it to open a delivery of 10 1 kilogram spools of new filament for upcoming projects. So,
He actually was able to get both the Grombits and my CP into the.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
And he did that. He did that like while we were chatting on the phone,
may I?
or not on the phone, but over
So the cross,
Messenger.
get hard time getting that to
Oh,
focus.
my
Cross
steel
Grombits
holiness.
are.
Am I going with the grain of the blade this way? Or?
Steve McMillan says, hi, Jason.
That's my brother. Tell him I said, what's up?
I already steel wooled that for you, by the way.
Oh, okay. So it's
Cross
good to go.
Grombits are the
Right
tribal
there.
edge.
Yeah, so there's actually a story out there. I'll actually have to write up a story about that for maybe our talk about it Tuesday that I was supposed to
Do
get to.
yesterday?
It's
That
been
you
a
were supposed to do yesterday?
hellacious couple of weeks. But yeah, so the cross Grombits actually have a lot of meaning. My maker's mark used to be CP, but cross Grombits were the two Grombits that these represent. I'll have to post some pics of it. Actually, were were the last two blades that one of a close friend Ian and I collaborated on, and he got into knife making about the same time that I did in 2005, but he got into it from a hammer forging perspective. And I got into it from a stock removal perspective, for those of you who listened to the interview that we did, a series that we did a while back. And we kind of came together, and we also kind of shared what knowledge we were learning as we were learning. And the last project we did together was these two Grombits. And then he got busy with life, I got busy with life, we kind of went our separate ways for a bit. And before I knew it, I found out he was diagnosed with a brain tumor and had passed away. And so this is kind of a tribute to that journey that we took together.
Don't cry.
Anyway.
There's no crying in blacksmithing or
Anyway,
bladesmithing.
it's close. It's close. Close to the heart.
So what are that is not
Hey, Scott, did you bring down an empty jar?
right there.
Oh, that one. Okay. Cool.
As always, larceny.
I thought that was almost poured it in there.
That would have been alcohol abuse.
Well, you never know. So what we're going to do here is we're going to clean this off with acetone first. Then we're going to put it in here, and then I'm going to fill it up until, yep, exactly. And then we're going to let that sit. So I don't know if you guys remember or not, but this blade had a little bit of a goober on it where it bumped the belt after it was etched. And so what we're going to do now is I cleaned it up, and now we're going to re-etch it. And we want to clean it up first because even fingerprints can mask the etching solution, whatever you use.
actually, the story of him starting, so he says, I'm going to have to design and print a light box of your logo for you guys after hearing that story. And I'm sure, I could pantomime the whole story for you.
Yes.
But the story of him actually getting involved in bladesmithing is a pretty touching story, actually. So
It's funny because at shows when I start talking about it, I can almost feel my daughter behind me mouthing with me while I tell it because she's heard it so many times. And I love telling it, but I also know they can get pretty exhausting to listen to if you've heard it 4,000 times. So this is white vinegar, and white vinegar is actually a mild acid. And so because it's clear, it shouldn't stain the stabilized handle, but we try to keep Murphy at bay as much as we can. So we're using white vinegar instead of something more aggressive to get this etching going. Incidentally, if you ever do get a high carbon steel kitchen knife, it's very common for the food that you cut with it to actually etch the blade too. So if it starts off silver, it won't stay silver, and that's normal, that's natural for it. In fact, the oxides that can be kind of cut with it can help protect it as it ages, and it kind of tells a story of its journey too. So you should see a couple of our blades upstairs that we have that we made in the shop, and they look pretty modeled, almost stone washed gray. But they do a wonderful job. They actually hold an edge a lot better than most of the things you can buy in the store.
Dan says he's on the way.
I don't believe Danathan.
Yeah, I don't believe Danathan
I've
either.
heard that before too.
So we've got Danathan, we've got Skylar Claus, we've got Brother Brian. Jason gets to earn his nickname next.
All right.
Okay, got that all set up? Yeah, good job.
I actually already have one.
Yeah?
The guys at the range call me double tap, but I double tap every card. Even when I'm not supposed to.
Yes, but that's the range, that's not the shop. Be afraid, young man, be afraid.
All right, what are we doing over here?
Yeah.
A lot of grinding today. I can't speak for what Dan is going to be doing, but
I wonder if we're going to get any new viewers from our show.
well, the gentleman from Silverback Creations, and I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. Well, I will definitely let him know that for sure. I'm sure that he would absolutely love that. But yeah, the gentleman from Silverback Creations, the guy that we got the dragons from,
Right,
he's actually watching right now.
Right.
So, at least that one.
And he got a blade.
Yeah, he got a blade.
Right.
Yeah.
He had a black t-shirt on that said Silverback Boom.
Yeah.
He was our dragon guy.
Yeah. Dad, he says seriously, if you ping him a message of the business logo, he'll box it and send it as a gift. So
Thank you.
that would be
And you'll
absolutely
have to come
awesome.
visit and visit the mines with us and play sometime.
Yeah, so he can collect you too.
There's nothing creepy about going to a stranger's basement, right?
No,
Okay.
nothing at all.
So my
That's-
favorite thing.
There's nothing creepy about spending time in a basement with 5 other men.
Well, it's funny too because like at workshops, a lot of times I'll meet people outside because they're kind of weirded out by the fact that they do this right in the house, as opposed to like a storefront. And so I kind of have a little bit of sadistic fun when I meet people. It's like, yes, let's go to my basement.
Can I have you steal this for another minute? I'm going to run upstairs and see if I can't get everybody to share.
Yeah, you bet. Yep.
Let me make my mark.
Ah, good point.
Does anybody need anything from upstairs?
All set.
Josh, Jason? Dad?
Good to go, darling.
Good.
Thank you.
All right.
Try and keep an even number on each passes on each side. All right. And your Damascus one is in the drink right now.
Is this good on my mark right there, you think, Jeff? You think I'm right on, or?
I would give yourself probably
A little more forward?
About to there.
Okay.
Just color everything. Go ahead and you just run it right across my pinky there.
All right.
But and then color everything back behind that.
Okay.
There you go. Also, what I would do is I'd like draw a line of where you wanted to actually see that come up to, and then wherever you're not moving towards that mark, you can spend a little extra time there to bring it right back up.
Okay, so...
And easier just to do it like this. So I would say take it up to about there first, and then you can move it from there.
All right, so it's gonna go like that.
So one of the things that I like to do with this is I'll actually use my finger
Okay, run down
right on the edge,
Gotcha.
and then
Gives you a little more stability on.
just follow right there,
Okay, like
and
it.
then make that line get up to that line. See where we're at.
See where we're at. Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
And you can just tuck that in your pocket, man. Welcome to the shop here. Sometime I'll have to post a video of the evolution of the shop. It used to be that right up at in the glass on the desk. Sorry about that, guys. I hit a button, I think. But right here, this used to actually be a wall that went all the way along here, and that was actually storage on this side. My wife said, well, if you get busy and you can show me that it works, you can go ahead and have the whole area there. And we did. And so it actually really kind of expanded the shop, which is wonderful. Ooh.
So, what do you suggest there? I mean, not like I need to, but I do want to have it engraved.
Tell you what, as soon as Kira takes it back, I can put a Scotch-Brite belt on, a gray one, and then we can actually buff that right out. Okay, now see how you're starting to taper at the end there, but not really right here?
Yep. So
Make sure that you are careful right back here, yep.
right.
Because right now this is going faster than this, and you want to kind of keep it even, like we already passed that mark, right?
Yep.
In fact, I would just focus on this back area right here,
Okay.
and just a little bit, and then blend it together, and
Okay.
then we'll switch.
All right. So we'll start like about right here then.
Yep. No, and see, also part of the problem is that you're actually coming in point first, as opposed to flat.
Okay. I need to work on that.
That's okay, it's just practice,
I
man.
need to get behind it a little bit more.
Yep. Kind of like you're sighting down a rifle or a bow.
Right.
There you go. And right now, because we need to work in that spot, that's good that you're not actually engaging the rest up here.
Right. Leaving that off.
Yep. Just so you get where you want it, and then you want to blend it back together. See how that's coming up now?
Yep.
Right there. And once you get rid of that marker, flip side. Otherwise, I didn't see any wobbles in the light when we were looking at that, so that's a good even draw.
Okay, cool.
How are we doing over here, sir? So, if you're looking at doing handles, what I would do, Jason, is book match the set, take the tape off.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Yep, but book match the set and then tape the edges. I'll grab you the tape.
Yep.
And then also next step would be to cut pins.
Yep.
Because then what you can do is we can actually use the blade as the template for it. Set it on top.
Right.
And then drill each hole, drop a pin in, and then drill on the next hole.
Yep.
That way you make sure you got everything flowing right through.
Did you see the question about the angle?
I didn't even look.
Okay. He says, what angle do you recommend when sharpening a knife? I'm going to flip you around.
Okay, so I tend to freehand sharpen, but my angle bevels tend to come in right around 20 degrees. the angle that you're going to use varies from on the design of the blade a lot of times. So a bushcraft blade, we don't necessarily want something like a kitchen grind. We want something that's going to be a little bit more of a bigger angle, so that we're not rolling when we're trying to chop through saplings or something.
Hi, Amanda.
So it just varies. But mine tends to be my hand position tends to be at a position where I come in around 20 degrees plus or minus, and then people can maintain it from there.
You got it. Show them.
Oh, yep, exactly. So can I demonstrate real quick? I'm not going to sharpen this. So one of the more important things that I like to do is I like to try and do something that's reproducible. So I find like a position of my hand that I can lock into, and I can then actually move my body rather than moving my arms, so that I can kind of use my body like a slide table.
It's all in the hips, they say, right? It's all in the hips.
And then I can do the same angle on the opposite side, and now move my body once again once I get kind of set. So if you see me sharpening something, I tend to kind of make sure I'm all set, and then I'll actually make contact. And you'll see the people that work with me kind of do that too, because they're stuck with my training. So, but Scott,
Say hi, Amanda.
hi Amanda.
Your wife says hi.
Hey, babe.
Oh, these are okay. These are his.
And if you have any questions about like grinds and edge grinds and stuff like that, like let me know, and I'll make sure that I ask him. It is important. The kind of grind for the edges really important based on what your purpose of the knife is.
Yep. I think we actually did a post on that a while back.
We did, but you know what? We could talk about it forever. We could go on forever on what an apple seed grind was good for, or a hollow grind. Yep.
Yep, absolutely.
So
I like the apple seed grinds a lot because they kind of help support the edge actually. Apple seed grind, like a flat grind would be like this. A hollow grind would be more like this. And an apple seed grind is going to have a slightly convex kind of shape to it. And it's really, really hard to tell a lot of times, but right now, on the slack of the belt, we're doing more of an apple seed grind. If we were had a flatten on there, we were kicking it back to the angle that we wanted, and then where the belt was riding over that would be a flat grind. If we were to use the big wheel itself, we'd end up with more of a hollow grind. But the hollow grinds, while they're super sharp, tend to roll the edges pretty quick if you're using them hard.
Tristan would like to know where his dad is.
In the mines.
What's up, Bubba's?
He's probably smiling right now because I said his name ain't on it.
I certainly hope so. Well, we're happy to have him here.
Yeah, absolutely. You got all the 220s?
Huh?
You got all the 220 sharp in there?
Hi, Jeremy.
Cool. I'm only going to sharpen this up because I got to get that stuff happy.
Yeah. That's the next one.
Let's go and see what your dad's working on, Tristan.
That's the only one I need to get sharpened tonight.
Okay.
The others I'm going to package up and then
While he's tracing out his handle, let's go check and see what everybody else is doing. Brian,
Hey,
what are you doing?
well, we're going to flip sides and work on the other side here. Get the bevel going on that side. So
Make it even on the other side?
we're coming along, right?
Yeah.
Then we're
flipping sides. Does that mean you're going to stand in his head and do the speed and sharpen?
You know what? I saw a video of a guy doing something like that. Yeah, that's pretty talented. I'm not quite there yet, though, Scott.
You seem like the acrobatic type to me, though. Right?
Oh.
To stand on your head and grind a blade with your toes.
Maybe years ago.
Ooh, my knife of choice. Well, first of all, anytime that you who's this?
Working on, boss.
Anytime
Hey, bud.
that you put a ring on a blade, I'm going to be preferential to it. But oh, I'm sorry. I don't have a specific blade. I just love knives in general.
That's ready for handle.
Dad, what would you say my blade of choice is?
Put a ring on it.
Yeah. Sharp, pointy, preferably at somebody else.
I've seen her do some pretty nasty things with some dull blades too, so. But they had a ring.
I can see that.
Are you also carrying around a mason jar full of bourbon? Where did this come
What?
from?
I assume someone left this on the refrigerator for me. What? Why is everyone drinking my bourbon? I don't understand it.
Jonathan, the
go,
cat
buddy?
has arrived.
You know, you're men in a basement and you're all
That
wearing
is mine, by the way.
is it? You're all wearing leather, so that makes it even weirder, right?
What are you going to be doing tonight?
I don't know why you guys started at half an hour.
He has my bourbon.
Did we start a half an hour early, or did you decide to show up a half an hour late?
Potato.
Yeah.
Please
Tomato.
have a bourbon, young man.
Yes, I will. What am I going to
Scott,
order?
me.
Yeah, go grab
Dress you.
go grab your bourbon and then come back.
Okay, I have to go to bed.
All right, you do that.
You add some human patina to that knife.
Yeah, human patina.
I told him maybe.
I like that, human patina.
I got bear, I got deer, might as well have human patina.
I mean, the trifecta, right? All right, let's go see. Sound warning. Obviously, these saw blades are very loud. What are you doing? Pin material?
Yeah, I'm cutting some pins for.
You gotta talk louder.
I am cutting pins for Jason.
Okay, well, you don't have to talk like a robot. Just be louder.
I will be louder. Usually
Well, this is why I asked about the lavalier mics.
Yeah, you're right.
Because even having one of them, even having one of them, I could hold it. What would make it easier for.
Yeah, we can add those in there.
Oh, which by the way, what is his name? The guy from Silverback. Do we remember his name?
I don't remember his name.
We're terrible people.
I am.
We keep saying it.
I'm horrible
Silverback
at names
Creations.
anyway, but I
Like,
tell that to like everyone in class when I teach martial arts.
if
I'm
you
like,
if you have a
ask
poster
you again.
or a card or something that we can
Yes.
put up, we're gonna be putting stuff on this wall and this wall from all the different people that we get.
it's a community, it's a tribe.
So, yeah, we have like Cinder Rose and they're lever workers. We have obviously Phoenix Abrasives. We have custom engravers and a bunch of people that we're gonna put up.
Alabama
So,
Damascus.
yeah, so if
And
we
hopefully
can
one day we'll have Legion, or not Legion, Larceny.
larceny.
Yeah, hopefully I'll
So if we can help you with your business, please let us know.
Yep, absolutely. There's a landing tube. Alright, cool. Alright, so there are 3/16 shipping already.
Yeah, that's what I just put in there. I took it out of
There's
there.
a 5/16 right there that you can use for the tube. Alright, now what's the deal with this? How am I doing? Okay, so where
I drilled from this side.
did you already drill? You did already drill. Okay, so let's see it. This is how you take. Alright, so that won't go through right now. Yep. So what we want to do then?
His name is Tom. Tom.
Tom!
Thank you.
I'll probably ask again though, I warn you. So now we have to do is kind of zoom it out a little bit.
Okay.
Because even though these are both 3/16, for some reason, and some it goes right away and others it doesn't. See, that one goes through first. We'll go through this way. And
So you're
I do
drilling-
then kind of stir it a little bit. And we want it to push through without having to be pressed through. But we don't want it to fall through.
Pinholes.
Now it's going through a little bit. That, no. Alright, so this is one of those things where we kind of have to have patience and drink. And there we go. Feel that? When you push it through? Yeah, that's kind of the tension that you want. And so then what I'll do, are you drilling from this side? That's what I'll do then is I will actually set that one down and you can align it where you want that next one. And now you know you got passed through all the layers. We've overreamed that.
All
so
right.
we have to have a little bit of
Dan,
Yeah.
what are you working on tonight?
Okay, I haven't 100% decided yet.
Well, let's make it something absolutely ridiculous as part of the course. So
I think I'm gonna grind this belt.
there's so much grinding going on tonight. You're like a bunch of 16-year-old girls.
At least there's no bumping going on. Just the grinding. Is that two different things, or is that?
No, bumping is different than grinding.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that you're very confused.
So this one, it's a knife, and it goes choppy choppy.
What is it for?
This is
I see you did your standard 7,000 hole pin.
I did. Is this the right one? I don't know if this is the right one. So actually, this is for a customer, and I wanted to give him the option of doing a coffin nail design, or center pins, whichever he preferred. So I did both.
So can you tell me real quick what the difference between a coffin pin design and a regular pin?
So coffin pin design is when you put the small pins on the outside, and that looks like coffin nails around the coffin. And the center pins would be through here. And you don't do both because that would be excessive. And I am known
For
to
not
have
being
very few
excessive.
pins in my handles. So this way, because really anything that I do without a pin in it is just a pass through then for the epoxy to hold even better. So it's hard to have too many pins. But this way I can either do the coffin nail design or we can do the center pin. That one actually would be a mosaic, right? So we could have 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'd probably put.
Still do the lanyard?
I'd still do the lanyard in that.
Yeah.
And he actually chose the coffin nails, so we're gonna do the coffin nails, and then these are just gonna be pass-throughs.
Awesome. Wow.
Oh,
Aren't you a cool
I
guy?
didn't hurt myself. Either.
Look at you being a cool guy. All right. What's going on over here?
Now we're starting to get a little more color on there. It's not as silvery anymore. You see how that's kind of starting to darken up? That's actually a pretty cool finish right there. I like it. So let that go a little bit longer. Sorry about that. We won't fuck some shit up.
This is a family show.
We're going to mess some stuff up.
So, for those of you, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm also working on this one.
What are you doing with that one?
Well, the handle got all kind of jiggity jacked,
Yeah.
and so I'm gonna repolish the handle.
Okay.
But kitchen knives, nobody's liked it, so I'm still working on it.
You'll figure it out one day, Dan. I have
One
faith in
day,
you.
someday, I'll be a big boy.
So,
Look at that.
for anybody,
Oh, hey, the dragon dude, is he still on?
yeah, Tom from
Tom.
Silverback.
Hey, Tom. I gave a friend of mine one of your dragons, and I have one out on my shelf right now, and she absolutely loved it. She thought it was awesome. So, thank you. That's it.
Yeah, big shout out to Silverback. Tom from Silverback Creations. I know you're here, and we'll probably tag you in the live as well. Anything we can do to help small creators and stuff. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick little show of what people are doing over here. There are multiple different types of handle material. This is all stuff that if you get a workshop or you schedule a workshop, you can pick through all of these different kinds of handle material. We got commissions in here. That what is it called? The honeycomb hybrid is absolutely gorgeous. Shout out to Muskoka Turner again for a lot of the woodwork and a lot of the handlework material that we have. But so this is our little stock area.
But I gotta come back and pick these up after the engraver.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we
bring over here.
I'm gonna be picking up his blades from the engravers.
Oh, okay. From custom engravers.
Yeah.
Yay! Custom engravers.
But when I come in down next Friday to do that, then I swing by here to do that. So
And if I forget again,
next
for whatever
Saturday,
reason.
well, I'll send you a message. Next Saturday is when this is that.
I had them all in my. I had them in my case, and then.
I'm not informed you.
Well, that's good.
What are you doing, Scott Claus?
Huh?
So what are you doing?
Trying to sharpen shit. Stuff.
Stuff. There are children, specifically Jason's child, watching this right now. So what are you doing over here?
Here. There.
Jason,
That there is what I'm
I
doing.
need a friend of mine.
right here. So what are you gonna do next?
I'm gonna drill out this lanyard hole, and then we're gonna cut out the handle and get the gluing.
All right. What size drill bit are you using?
5/16.
5/16?
5/16.
All right. Oh, this is something a little bit different.
So Jason got, a few years ago, Jason got a knife from me.
Louder.
So a few years ago, Jason got a knife from me, and I hadn't actually turned it into a template yet. So he brought to show me the sheet they made for it, and I thought that was a great opportunity to trace it and be able to get a template for it so I could make some more. So I'm just kind of making a template, and this is gonna have to go on the table, young lady. I'm sorry, more knives on the table.
Oh no!
Right? But we have the clearance table, and I think we have some clearance blades left, so that I can make more knives.
I've got
Help a guy.
7 of them sitting in the juice.
So, template, if you guys were to come here for a workshop, the template, you get a piece of paper, you get 11 by 2 bar stock, and then your templates are made out of this like kind of corkboard material. But these are a lot of different templates that we've had from people who have made knives previously, different random ideas, obviously like unfinished ideas. But yeah.
I need to crowdsource an answer.
Okay.
What is 0.12 in freedom inches?
.12 what?
inches. 0.12 inches in a fraction. Oh.
So what is .12 inches? Where?
As
how
a
big is
fraction.
it?
Oh, you're getting smart.
Okay. So
3/16.
There you go.
3/16.
That's why you guys keep a woman around, right?
True. For the brain stuff.
Obviously, found the place that country for you.
Yeah, me too.
There's 2 cycles at 400, by the way.
I feel the same way about Lennon, Amanda. You know, there's not really very many more terrible things that my son could hear because he is around us. So,
Steel. It all looks the same after a heat treat. I didn't know if this was my...
Yeah, we like being able to make templates because if we find there's a blade, there's some blades that people really seem to like and are drawn to, and we want to make sure that we have those available so we can remake them. The one thing that about how we make knives, though, is that even though we're working from the same template, each one will be a little bit unique because they're all done by hand. So we really love, actually, that aspect of being able to make each one its own individual piece of art.
what were you saying, Danathan?
So my customer ordered this in 8670.
Can you talk a little louder?
Yeah, my customer wanted this in 8670.
Okay.
And for funsies, I wanted to make one in 52100. And now I don't know if this one is the 8670 or the 52100. But I'm pretty sure it's the 8670 because that fits right there. And the steel is the same thickness. And I think that my 52100, this is 1/8 inch, and my 52100 was 332. So I'm pretty sure this is 8670.
And there's no way to tell?
There's no way to tell.
Not without a...
Not really. Maybe Chuck might know. I don't think so. I mean, maybe if you compare how they throw the sparks when you're grinding them, you could do that.
a hardness test.
A hardness test would give you the hardness,
Yeah.
but
It wouldn't tell you anything.
no, because really, like 8670 and 52100, for example, what I go for on sort of a bushcrafty type utility blade is toughness more than hardness. So what we would do is we would heat treat for those specific parameters, regardless of what kind of steel it was. So this is probably going to be, this should be around 60 on the Rockwell hardness scale, and probably around 16 foot-pounds on the toughness scale, which would be real close. Because these steels all tend to be very close together, unless you're really putting a lot of stress on it.
So you're not going to be able to tell the difference with a spark test or a hardness test between like 80 CRV2, 1084.
No, it's really hard to know after the fact. Spark might get you there, give you some sense. Like if I cut a piece of 80 CRV2 and cut a small piece of what is this again? I don't even know what this is.
8620, yeah.
Maybe if I did like a comparison right back to back, one might throw more sparks than the other, and I could tell that way. But I'd have to cut a piece off of this and harden it, do all that stuff, do all that rigmarole. That's why it's nice to make sure they're marked with a Sharpie when we actually heat treat them, so that it kind of sticks around. Yeah, I'm almost sure this is 86. Sorry, Don, if it's not.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
All right.
Almost like poison. So close.
Almost like poison.
Almost like
I didn't cook it, so it's not poison. All right, let's see what's going on.
New Columbus.
Jack, I have already been talking to Dad about coming down to Tennessee the next time. I got the painting, and first I want that. Second of all, I got the axe, so I want to come down for that. I mean, it's Tennessee, so the bourbon and the whiskey stuff, so there's that.
We got
Plus,
Jack hooks.
I saw, I'm already sold. You got to convince that one that he has to put up with me. All right?
It's kind of a long ride, man. I don't know.
Yes, now what I would do is I would actually cut
Later,
this off,
yeah.
rough cut that, and then like
So, Wallace, hello. Are you going to be doing anything today?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Me and Blades today, probably not the best idea. Just kidding.
You and Blades are not a best idea. You're in the wrong house. You're in the wrong house. What's going on with Scotta Claus?
Put a little edge on this one.
Let me touch it up first. I don't know if I was going to do it right now.
You gotta.
I'm just going to stand right here and not move. You know what?
You know what? What?
You want to find out what? No. You are not around. You are not ready to F around and find out. All right?
So Scott, this is the note. And I'm going to use to touch up that.
As always, thank you to Phoenix Abrasives for the amazing belts. All of them. Those ones, those ones, those ones, those ones, those. All of these. I'm actually looking around and there's a lot less belts than there normally are, and a lot newer belts. So I feel like Greg's probably gonna have to fulfill an order sometime soon.
That's a belt I got from not Phoenix Abrasives.
Not
Crap.
Let's see what we can do.
Doing a little restoration work?
Well, Scott, you actually use this for the clean bear in gear. And so what I'm doing is I'm just touching it up a little bit after use to kind of clean off some of that surface for us. Because actually, like blood and stuff has some acidity to it.
Hey, so you're saying there's a little part on there, huh?
A little what?
Part?
Bark.
The gigantic Kodiak bear that was in all those movies?
Couple black bears.
Couple black bears.
I want you to do this before you sharpen it, so I can actually buff any edge off.
Oh. That's a little of this one too.
Yeah, we always start with least invasive belt. So I'm going to start with the gray, which is ultrafine. If that didn't work, I'd go to the fine. If that didn't work, I'd go to the medium gray.
Oh, that makes sense. Because you can always take more off. You can't put any back. Okay.
You got it. Brownie points.
Measure once, cut 10 times.
There we go, yeah.
Now you sound like work.
Little check top. take a look at comments. Hi, Nina. Nina's on the live. Say hello. Nina says hello to everyone. Dan. 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 With a J. Dan. Nina. Mom. Mom. Hi, Mom. He's working. Look at you. See, guys? It's all in the hips.
Hey!
What we got here?
I have a commission for a friend of mine.
Oh.
He wanted kind of a shop knife.
Yeah?
Shop knife, utility knife, general
Okay.
purpose.
It looks semi-chef-like a little bit in the front.
It does, yeah. And so, I
And
don't
you got
know.
a deep finger well there too, as you can see. So definitely thought he's gonna be able to articulate this any way he wants. Looks like he's gonna have a pretty nifty swell here too. So that should look pretty nice.
Yeah, let me see if I can get that off.
Never a screwdriver.
I do want to see what you think.
This feels like a little multi-use for sure. But I like this deep finger well.
Yeah?
Deep finger well right there. Like, if I was gonna use it for like a self-defense kind of thing, I like how my knuckles line up pretty nice with it.
That's true, I never thought about that.
Not a lot of pinching to it. You can still, kind of, like, it's not like a thumb rest, but like it is, right? Your spine's fine right there.
Yep.
Yeah, this is,
So that should be pretty cool.
yeah, I think it should be pretty good
Yeah.
for pretty decent multi-use blade.
Right?
Did he say like what he was planning on doing with it?
He wants to use it as a shop knife.
Shop knife, gotcha.
Shop
Okay.
So this will be his general purpose
Yep.
shoppy shop.
So let's open all the boxes, guys. All the boxes.
Forgot the first thing you have to do
Oh
is
yeah.
remove that black so
Yep.
that you can establish where your ricasso is going to be.
Womp womp.
Oops. And that's not
Yeah, you gotta change that one out.
the right thing for the stuff.
No. So the maroon one?
I get a special.
Special? Oh, you got a special one, huh? Mm. Special Dan. We like Special Dan.
There again.
Ha ha. Oh, sorry. What do you got? Oh man, I had to get some water. Sorry guys.
You can take over?
No, you're good. I got water here. I just. Show us up, Dan. Boop boop.
Thank God for larceny, right? All right, let's see.
You know why they call it larceny?
Grandma Nina says hi.
Hi.
Say hi. Say hi to your silver fox.
Hello, my
Tell her
silver
you
fox.
love her.
Te amo. I love you. Tú tienes mi corazón, mi amor, all that.
Are you not in love with my grandma too? Everybody should be in love with my grandma. She's beautiful.
I said tú tienes mi corazón.
I was asking.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't know what's going
too
on.
many. There's too many. There's too many men
I'm
next
stuck
to
right
me.
next to you. I'm riding your coattail.
All right, Brian.
Prior to that, with any insurance, it was a whole lot more. And then,
I will wait. Okay, so what are you looking at?
I'm looking at water. Oh.
Well, no, knife. Like, what are you looking at?
We get this shit taken care of. Wow.
And what is this?
This is my full size.
Do me a favor. Louder.
This is my full size blade.
Thank you.
Wait, this one's not mine. Was it mine? I think it's mine. Yeah, that's mine. That's how long it's been since I've seen it. I was like, is this mine? Yeah, that's mine. Oh yeah. No thingy in it. Shark fin. That's how I know it's me. Everything I make looks like shark bait. This thing right here.
So with me, it's rings. With you, it's shark fins.
Shark fins.
With Scotta Claus, it's Bowie knives. With Danathan, it's 10,000 pinholes.
Yes.
So
What? Everybody has their thing. That's the cool thing about like
It's quality craftsmanship.
that's true.
That's what it is for me.
It'll never go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're like,
all I'm hearing is
"You're not
Dan
gonna
likes
use it."
holes.
I like what?
Holes?
Well,
I like to get pegged.
Hole. You like to get big? No.
What?
No.
Hey.
This is a family show.
It was till Dan decided to turn it into an after-hour show.
I thought that's what he said.
Is it an after-hour show now, or is it a family show, Dan?
after-hour
I
show.
don't know.
Guys, we gotta focus on knife making. That's like what the whole purpose of this is.
What? What are we doing again?
Not your weird, like pervy stuff.
Everything's about Oh, I got
Furry stuff.
This
What?
one is kind of goes between these two.
Oh.
Nice.
Hey, Chuck.
Before you leave, Scott, let's see what you did. Before you leave, let's see everything you did.
Oh, it's packaged up.
Aww. Well, why don't you tell me?
Darby pointy stuff. Yeah. Well, I don't think they're good laser days, but on another sharp box, we're going to put some blood
So
on.
these other ones want me to take
These are all ready, and then when that one's done, you package it in here like that.
you bet.
That's now.
That's what you guys are really here for. You're working on a bevel grind?
Yep. So a good rule of thumb is to check it as much as you grind it. And I'll probably take this back to halfway, maybe a little bit deeper.
I was just gonna ask what angle you were grinding
I
at.
just started grinding away.
He likes grinding at angles.
Yes, I do.
We'll see. I'll send you a message to remind you.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Bye, Santa Claus.
Bye.
I would hug you. I'm sort of, yeah. Drive safe, don't read. We need to get Scott a t-shirt. Do you have a t-shirt?
And whatever that is. I don't know. You told me show me the one you wanted. That was close up. And this right here, folks, this is a crime.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Santa
where?
Claus left without finishing his poison. Where are you going with that? You just snapped out. I was gonna pour that into here,
Oh, okay.
and then you can.
I'm
seal
just
it.
gonna share it with you anyways.
So this is caring for your larceny right here, folks.
All right,
That's
back to
love.
the knives.
Back to the knife. Now that grinder's open, I can get to work.
So real quick, come back. There's a lot of bevel grind working
Yep.
happening right now. What is a bevel grind?
So the bevel grind is what takes you.
I'm gonna need you to speak up a little
Yep,
bit
yep.
just because there's a lot of grinders.
So right now, on the thinner steels like the 1/8 inch and stuff, I'll actually cold grind rather than pre-grind before heat treat like I do with some of the thicker steels. And we'll actually take this where everything is parallel, and then we have to kind of create that bevel that's going to lead to your edge. So with this steel, we heat treated it, we tempered it, and now what we're going to do is we're going to bevel grind it. And to do that, we have to figure out what's the mission of the blade, and that will then determine kind of what kind of an angle we start at for the bevel grind. With the 1/8" steel, this is going to be largely like a Hunter EDC type thing. And we're going to start at a 90-degree angle and adjust from there. I like to carry my grinds at least 50% of the way up.
Can you give me an example of a knife?
Yeah. Let me grab a couple blades.
Okay. So again, bevel grind. He's cleaning up handles. He's working on bevel grinds. He's also working on bevel grinds.
Okay, so this is a commission. And you can see that the bevel kind of goes up to right about here.
So your bevel is
I love the product placement
Right
of the
there.
bourbon.
right here and right here. Right here at the top of the hilt, right?
Yep. So if we look at this, these were almost the same thickness when we started, but when we get that bevel grind in there, you can see how kind of thin we take it down. This one is designed more as a meat eater, so I took it right down to almost a 0-point edge right there. So it's only the smallest of a grind that we'll need to put the actual edge on it.
So a bevel grind is the pre-grind before you put the edge.
Yes, yep, it actually leads to the edge. This is probably easier to see, being that it's mono steel. You can see where it kind of goes up to, and I like to carry mine about 50% of the way up minimum. On the thicker steel, I'll actually take that grind all the way to the spine and taper it from the tip back to the full thickness by the handle. We call that a distal taper. And then once again, this one is a very small kind of EDC box cutter, whatever you need it for. And so I actually set the angle on my bevel to go about halfway up, but then get to almost an edge right here. And I know the camera doesn't necessarily pick that up very well. But on a bushcraft blade, I might leave that a little bit meatier, so that instead of having kind of an edge that looks like this, it might look like this a little bit more, because a bushcraft blade is going to have a lot more like hammering kind of usage potentially when it comes to chopping things than like a hunting knife or a skinning knife might. So yeah, bevels are something that you're constantly looking at. What's the mission of the blade? How high do we carry it? What steel do we use? And how do we execute that? The thicker the steel, typically the higher the grind is going to be. And I often will just kind of try and taper it right from the tip back to the full thickness at the handle. I wish I had an example for that.
I was going to say, do we know if we're working on different kinds of bevel grinds?
Oh yeah, all right. So this is actually a good one right here. Look how thick that steel is. That's actually 3/16 right there. And you can see how it kind of tapers down here. This is a little bit more of an extreme taper because we didn't do a full distal taper on it. But you can see where the grind ends right here. Now if this were a lot bigger blade, in order to balance it and push the weight back towards the handle, I would actually take that taper from here and drive it back almost to the handle. So it'd be like a really skinny anorexic triangle, essentially. But that's actually a really good kind of example of
So
it.
this right here
Yep.
would be choked up
Yep,
further.
exactly. I would actually take that right up almost all the way to the spine and then taper it off right there. But yeah, and you can see here then he kind of took it down. So it's going to be a good sharp blade, but it's not something I want to baton through stuff. I'd actually want to kind of use that. That's more of a meat eater kind of edge.
It's a full-size piece, the one I'm wearing actually.
You
But I just remember this was the one I found. It was at 5/16.
Okay,
And I just cut these things off.
check that out. That's gonna look sweet. Okay, so perfect. You got all the blades? You got 1, 2, 3, 4 pins. Total? I don't see this one.
I'm not cut that one. I was sizing the hole out first. I think because I knew it was over there.
How do you measure first and then cut?
I was like, this isn't right. I was
We
like,
don't operate like that in this shop. Put to it. You're on deck.
not trying to remember. I'm going to try and clean these up too real quick.
Actually,
The birds off.
here, let me set this one for you.
Is there, other than Mom, who's been doing a lot of messaging? No, it's just Mom. Scott's leaving. Drive safe, don't rape. Too many larcenies.
Sound advice, gentlemen out there.
Why don't? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, it's just going to have to take the birds out.
Let's see. Why do I even come here to watch this?
Because you love us.
Oh no, she's only here for Dan. She's not here for you, her son, or brother Brian, or Jason and his good company. No, she's here for this little shitbag.
Child abuse. Child abuse.
All right.
Abuse.
So, tracing out how to cut the handle. And then after that, he will start to drill the holes. So here we have, well, other than Dan, I was pointing at the shelves behind you. I was gonna do a little tour of the shop.
I'm the first stop on every
Yeah,
tour. baby.
Dan is still talking. Anyways, so we have our.
Sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you. I just got excited.
Do you want to get stabbed? Because that's how you get stabbed. So here is our tower of random bullshit, and then we have saw, grinder.
This is Dan's grinder.
This is Dan's grinder. That's why Scott loves to fuck with it as much as he does.
Yeah, that's what Chuck was saying. It kind of looks like it's actually.
Yeah. It's got the
Looks like it's got file grind on the backside. Jason, do you mind if I?
No, boy.
Okay.
That's actually made out of a machine hacksaw blade.
Ah, that
They're-
explains the
yeah.
teeth.
I can do them by hand, but it takes forever.
Yeah.
But that's supposed to be an 1/8 inch thick, and just to get a 18-inch piece of that's like $65.
Wow.
I've got 4 of them at the house that I'm working on. One's actually the mate to this is actually a machine.
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
Those teeth are gnarly. All right, put that back. Cutting pin. Yeah, eyes first.
we're gonna push that up to that height. Holy crap!
It's my first day.
I hope Chuck got to be so damn tall.
Oh man, we gotta get you a step ladder.
I'm saying, I'm having some trouble here.
You want me to help you out, man? You good? Let me know.
I might need some help.
Hey, whoa. Hold on to it tightly. Cutting pin. Don't let your mom see that.
What's cool is that when I glued up the other day, the curve, you didn't have a full, what do you call it, the honeycomb. It kind of swirled, and the swirl actually followed the lines of the handle, which was kind of cool. This was one I wasn't able to get on the table this weekend because I have to get the Maker's Mark. But I'm
Hey,
super
don't
happy
touch
with
me.
it.
I'm gonna touch you.
That
Hey, you're
was kinda
touching me.
cool.
That, what's that, the honeycomb?
Yeah, honeycomb with the Damascus. I really love that.
416 layer Alabama Damascus.
Yep, that's actually
Redneck skin?
Yep, you
Yep.
got it. And then this one actually was a scrap that I was hoping to get on the table, but just got too busy, and so that one's going to be up for grabs. This is a nano curve.
Wallace, you check the comments?
With your favorite, spalted. But this one's a dyed spalted.
I don't even have my earrings on today.
I know. But yeah, once again, amazing handles by John Bryant of Muskoka Turner.
There's a person that wants a neck knife. That's the last comment.
Yeah, there's a person that wants a neck knife, but
These-
I don't know who.
All these work on necks.
I don't.
Yeah, that's what
All of these work on neck.
Nope, one more time.
I get a grin. I get it again.
How Colombian of you.
That's only if you pull the tongue through.
So it
we
seems
do
like,
have neck knives if anybody does want some. I got a few of them actually.
well, it seems like everybody is either working on handle or bevel grinds.
Yeah.
So I think we should just like focus on like bevel grinds and how important they are.
Yeah.
And there are different types of bevel grinds, and what you use all the different bevel grinds for. Just trying to think if there's any questions. If anybody has any questions about bevel grinds, please.
You know, I wish there was actually like some. And I know that some people will swear by like getting the actual angle in, and specifically this 95.3 degree and stuff. And for me, I tend to eyeball it more, and I get into the ballpark of where everyone else falls in. But
Louder.
it is. Yeah, it's really for me. I just love the art of it, and a lot of it is intuitive, based on training and experience. So I don't want to ever become a production shop. Although we do have blades that we put on shows, show tables, and we definitely have the models that sell the best, and we try and do more of those. Even each one of those is going to be slightly different than the ones previous, because we do them by hand, and we just love to make the blades and work them. And each one is a baby. Each one is my baby. If I wanted to do mass production, I'd outsource each design.
You get them water cut.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, there's actually companies out there where you can actually like take a design and then send it overseas or whatever, and they'll mass produce them, but you have no quality control. And I'm a little bit too much OCD about that to ever be able to comfortably do that. I know what I can do.
I don't know what you're
I don't know
talking
what they
about.
can do.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never ever come into contact with that person.
Yes, I know what you're saying. All right, so these are ready to go to custom engravers. We have one more. Let's check and see how that's going. Ooh, look at that.
May I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Let's
But
try
let's
to
not
get.
do it over that though.
Oh, okay. Let's just try to. So
No, it might be
that.
better underneath the light there. It might be better.
Oh, I'm under the lid already. Beautiful.
No, I almost took a sip of this, and I really didn't want to take a
Don't.
sip of that. No.
Don't.
So I know that Scott wants this darker, but one of the cool things about white vinegar is that you can actually, it's a slow etchant, but you can really get some great gradients in there. And the longer it's in there, the darker it will get. But sometimes it's nice to kind of leave it lighter too, as long as you can see the character of the steel there. But we're going to leave this in there a bit longer because Scott has expressed the desire to have it much darker.
Could you use mustard?
I have not. I've actually read about people using mustard
Yeah, me too.
and stuff like that because it's probably acidic and stuff. But the results I've seen online have been more like almost like a stone wash.
Yeah, it's like a
More mottled.
Yeah, it's more dull and more mottled.
Yeah.
I think the coffee is really awesome.
Especially when you mix it with white vinegar. A horrible smell, but it's a wonderful result. But also with coffee, if you're not using like a stabilized handle or something, you do risk staining the handle.
And I have done that.
Yeah. So that's one reason I go back to white vinegar for re-etching. You have a customer like Jack down in Memphis has.
Which, by the way, Jack is here.
Jack.
Yeah, he was earlier saying that I needed to come down
Yes, well, you do. I've
to
told you this.
Tennessee.
And Jack, this is larceny. And while the ice is melted, it's still cold. And my daughter is now going to check it for poison. But it's also wonderful with dark chocolate, like we talked about down there. So yes, I've corrupted Jack as well. But like Jack has one of my wasps, which is a prototype EDC that I did for him in Damascus, and because he uses his blade, which I love, we had to re-etch it because otherwise it looks like my everyday carry. And I talked to him about white vinegar, and the nice thing about the white vinegar is it's super easy to do. It's a slow enough etch that you can control it much easier. It's like if you leave it in there for 5 minutes too long, it's going to eat the blade up. So it's very forgiving, and it's a really easy thing to do that doesn't absorb into the handle. So white vinegar, if you have to re-etch a Damascus blade, white vinegar is the way to go for me, from my safety perspective, in that dissolving your blade into a shiv. So anyway, that's my soapbox.
What's going on? Brian's been standing back here looking like he needed to have an answer.
I just wanted to verify. Do I go to 120 now? on
120 now, yes.
Okay, cool.
120 is it.
Thank you.
What is he doing?
So what he's doing here is he's actually to the point where he's gotten the bevel to the height that he wants. And now what we want to do, because it's still kind of thick here, we turn the bevel jig in, and we're going to go to 120. And I don't know if how well you can see it, but there's a little bit of a line right here where we did a test pass after I turned it in.
My lady's cousin's down there.
And we're going to push that line up to the current bevel line where he wants to target. And what that's going to do is it's going to make this area a lot skinnier as we go. And then we're going to flip it. We're going to do it on the opposite side and have the same thing. That way we can hit the established height on the bevel grind that we want. And that's a lot of speed for, we're going to go until it feels right.
What are you even doing? Do you guys even do things?
Because last time they had a storm, it flooded everything near Lena Beach, but it didn't touch it.
I don't want to do it on the bench.
No, and I actually will do, you can do it on that, or you can actually, I've laid down a glove before, it's just something soft, a piece of it, you can actually do the towel. Okay. So whatever works best for you though, to get the job done that you need to get done.
Sounds good.
Down to a cat 3 or cat 4 cat.
How are you doing?
And then when it gets to the center, it's going to be a 4.
With a 5, lamp, well, there's another 4, maybe a 3. With a
722. 722. To Shank.
I wish I could tell you. Once you get your own seal, not my seal, I have no idea. It's out of my mind.
So he was
Like a new blade.
talking earlier about like not being able to find the difference in steels.
What's that?
So he said he was talking earlier about not being able to find the difference in steels,
Yeah,
like
once they're
because.
unlabeled, there's no way to tell, right?
Not easily, no.
But so what are the not easy ways to tell the difference between steels?
All it takes.
Could you do a spark test? Like if you harden some 52-100 and then you harden some 80.
Can you talk a little louder?
If you hardened 52-100 and 80 CRV2 and did a spark test with both of them, they both probably look the same,
Yeah,
don't they?
I honestly think, because I believe 52-100 actually gets harder than 80 CRV2 at its max hardness.
Yeah.
Dad,
I would
talk
actually-
louder.
I would actually do a file, like one of those.
File hardness test?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the name now because I'm trying to.
But it's
blank.
like
Rockwell.
Moe's or
The Rockwell files.
Yeah, but depending on how you heat treat it, they could both be exactly the same. Right?
No, they're going to be temperate.
Right. Sorry.
So it would
Yes.
have to happen after heat treat. So immediately after heat treatment, and it's actually fully
Then you
transformed.
You could do a Rockwell.
Right,
test.
and for that I would probably make sure I had a coupon, like a little piece, or get the do it on the handle, and then
Send it to an actual. Get it.
well I'd call Jamie.
Right.
Call
And, have
Jamie.
him, and just use a hardness test.
Yes, because Jamie's actually got one of those Rockwell hardness testers that's calibrated, and if we do a dimple test on the handle where it's going to be hidden, we could actually tell.
Actually, Tom, it's funny because, not to distract from your conversation, I actually made the comment earlier about wanting to use the lavalier mics,
Yeah.
and he's like, Tom was like, it's time to use shirt mics. Like, I need to be able to carry around a microphone because it's really hard to hear you guys over all the other
Where's
sounds.
your microphone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing?
I don't have my blade my phone
Oh,
right
your
now
microphone.
because
Okay.
the camera was dead.
Yep.
So I'm using my phone instead of
Yeah.
the.
Yeah. So we need you to go, bro.
But the lavalier, I think we should use the lavalier if we're going to use my phone. Use the lavalier, and then I'll just
do the blade my phone.
take a blade my phone.
Okay. That's not a
Around.
technical term, by the way, guys. In this shop, we will be using blademophones henceforth for noise
Microphones,
reduction.
yeah.
Or noise increasing, I don't know.
The frost on that glass.
Ooh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's some serious rod. But I think that if you want to tell, then that's what I'm powered it up. No, also, because this is not an 8-inch strip,
Right.
it narrows it down.
Right. And that's what saved me actually.
Is Rode the brand of microphone? I don't know what brand of lavalier mic that we have that works for us.
I can't believe you got that.
It's what the customer is always right.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah. Okay.
I hope this isn't.
Because I know 8670 is not going to be anywhere near as hard as 100. But this stuff I thought was thin as an 8.
we're gonna go look at Brian, see what Brian's doing.
Get her down there.
Still working on the double grind.
Still working on that double grind. I went from 80 now I'm on a 120.
And that is
Belt.
the belt grind. Yep.
From an 80 grit to a 120 grit. Working it down.
The thing that I have learned from Dad is that everything essentially comes down to grind anyways.
Yeah.
Is you can hammer out a piece of steel as much as you want, but when it comes down to it, making sure that it's grinded the right way
Right.
and making sure you're grinding away all the D-lambs and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So everything comes back to grinding.
It does.
So this is a very important step.
It's very important, and to me, it's the most integral, for me anyway, but where I'm at in my stage of it, of bladesmithing, is it's challenging, and I try to take my time. All you gotta do is mess up one blade, and then it's like, okay, boom, so, and I've done that already, so. But that's how you learn, right? That's how you learn. And obviously very important to keep your blade cool, right? You don't want it to get too hot.
Yeah. Why do we want to keep the blade cool?
Well, if we get too hot, we're gonna start losing steel. Which is
Yeah.
one reason. You can probably add to that.
Oh yeah,
As
definitely.
well,
You
too.
don't want to superheat the steel, because what you'll end up doing is taking away from your edge or taking away from your tip. You want to make sure that you're maintaining a good temperature so that you don't untemper or whatever your knife, because you want to make sure that the steel still remains strong.
Right. And when you get too hot, it's normally on the tip, and then you lose your tip.
Mm-hmm.
So now you either A, shortened your blade if you've gone too far.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've done in the past.
Well, and nobody wants to stab their knife into something and then have the tip break off,
Right on.
or cut down or bang down on something and then have the edge break off or roll.
Right.
So that's why it's really important that while you're grinding on your edge, that you're making sure that you're dipping it into
Right.
your little cooling tank there.
Maintain the integrity of the steel. Right.
Mhm. Dad?
Yeah.
So, do you have anything to elaborate? So, we were just talking about how important it is that you maintain the temperature while you're grinding on the steel.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because, for example, you don't want to stab your knife into something and then have the tip break off, or go to bang down on something and then have your edge roll.
So here's the thing. The reason that we tend to heat treat and temper before a full bevel grind is because the thinner the steel, the more prone to warpage is going to be. So we want to leave enough meat on there that we're going to be able to, when we, what we tend to do here is we tend to quench it in the oil, which acts as a rapid catalyst.
That's our quench tank.
Yep. And that is what sets that conversion from soft, to the hard, as hard as the blade can possibly get. And then we put it into a clamped set of straightening, we call it straightening jig, but essentially it's industrial sized angle iron. And that acts to both draw heat away like the oil does, as well as keep it stable and straight while it's actually converting to that hardened state. And that helps us keep it from warping. So the farther you get into an edge grind, the more prone you are to be able to have that warpage.
So, what we're talking about though is grinding.
Yep. So the reason that we do that then is that we tend to heat treat and temper beforehand. So when you're grinding, we want to make sure that we don't get it too hot, or you can actually ruin the temper that you worked so hard to get. If you get color change during bevel grinding, that means that spot that the color change happened is no longer the same hardness as the rest of the blade.
And that's how you end up with rolling.
Yep.
or tips
Exactly,
being
yep.
taken out.
Yep, that spot's not going to hold an edge the same as the rest of the edge. That can also, because you've got a differential in the hardness there, that can also create a point for failure under heavy use. So my rule of thumb is that I found that the temper that we go for most is what we call a straw color, or it's a light, like a toasted marshmallow color.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, right before that happens, I can feel the heat through my glove. So that tells me that if I can feel the heat through my glove, I'm pushing almost 400 degrees. Here's that straw color that we actually look at for most of our blades.
Beautiful example.
Yep. This is kind of the standard color that we go for with our EDCs and hunters and things like that. That's found at about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and that will give us a Rockwell hardness on most of our steels of around 58 to 60-ish. It varies from steel to steel that we use. But if I am actually feeling the heat through the glove, I'm starting to get close to this temperature. And so that's why I tell people to make sure that you drop the blade
into
the
water
to cool it off, and then go back to your grinding. So yeah, temperature is incredibly important after heat treat and tempering. Before that, we don't worry too much about it.
So the summation is that it's important to pay attention to the heat while you're bevel grinding.
Absolutely.
Or whatever, because you don't want to risk maybe making the edge of your blade a little too soft,
Right.
or a little too brittle.
Yep.
And making sure that you're dipping your blade in
Yep.
water while you're
Yep.
grinding it.
Exactly. We always say in the workshops that the blade can never be too cool. So we actually do in the workshops, we do a partial bevel grind before heat treat to kind of get them acclimated to what to feel for and what to look for when it comes to grinding post heat treat. And so, the rule of thumb is if you can feel it through your glove, cool it right away. If you think you feel it through your glove, cool it. If you're not sure, cool it. So that's kind of our rule of thumb.
Thank you very much. Oh, actually, I'm going to go back and check the comments real quick.
Are we looking at
Road Lavier Go is what I have. Dad, do you know? Dad,
Yeah.
do you know what the brand of mics that we have? Because Tom from Silverback was saying that Rode Lavalier is what he uses for live.
Check my phone, but it's whatever. Oop, that didn't work quite the way it does. Let me check. It's whatever we got off of Amazon.
Whatever we got off of Amazon. But anybody that, you do a live, so if you have something that is going to help us produce a live better, that would be fantastic. All right.
We actually used, and of course it closed on me, damn it. It was Amazon Prime special. I think they there were 2 mics, Bluetooth for like $8, so $8 or $10 it was a special. So it's whatever we could find that was cost effective at the time. It was not high end. It really works. We actually used it at the live this past weekend, actually, and they tend to work. So we plug it into Kira's phone because her phone seems to be the best camera for this, much to her chagrin. And
What are you gonna
yeah.
do? Oh,
Trash.
Dad, hey Dad.
Yes.
No, I was just Chuck, and I was just trying to get your attention too.
I usually just pull on his Chuck.
Yes,
Chuck.
yes.
Daddy.
Awkward. No, stop that.
All right.
I've seen a T-shirt that might relate to that.
Flip it.
Good.
Flip it.
Flip it, Daddy. Flip it.
Oh.
Now.
Yeah, that is ready for polishing. Okay, so let's come over here and do your polish. What is this? This is just a polishing rouge that I got from Woodcrafters.
I'm sorry, what is that?
That is a polishing rouge. So it's like probably like, I don't know, 6,000 or 10,000 grit or something. But it actually, you put it on the buffing wheel, and then it kind of turns into a little bit of a slurry and helps polish stuff to get that nice gloss. That's just after a couple of hits.
So why are you polishing this now?
Because after we get this glued on, we can't really, so this portion right here, forward of the pin, is going to not be available to us after we get it glued on the blade. So we want to do all the work we can now so we don't risk scratching up the blade trying to do it later. So right now, I'm just helping Jason prep it for gluing, and then we'll get it glued, and then we'll be on to the final steps.
Yep.
Ooh woo. I didn't do that.
It's like you're a reporter. I love it.
My job is to ask you as many annoying questions as humanly possible.
Your job is to do that and herd cats.
Yeah, I just got the
And you do it well.
carbon fiber tires.
Oh, nice. That's going to be beautiful.
Amanda says that your handle is very pretty.
It's actually her handle.
Wait.
It's your
Well,
handle.
actually, both yours and hers are her handle.
No,
Oh,
all
we're
handles
not talking about, never mind.
are her handle.
That's right. That handle better be mine, young man.
Can we see it real quick? Actually, before you.
So this is what it looked like prior to what Jason prepped it for. And because he did such a good job, look at that gloss on there. That area right there, we're not going to be able to touch without risking scratching the blade after it's glued.
Beautiful
So that's
handle.
why we do all that work ahead of time, so we don't have to do a whole lot more work during the final stuff. There you go. You're ready for epoxy. Right? I know. Do a dry fit. You should check out the dry fit. It's actually going to be a cool blade, Amanda.
All right. So Amanda wants to see a dry fit. Let's see what it looks like put together. Minutes.
I'm going to do this one, do the first neck after steel wool.
Yeah, you know what? I want to feel older. So I thought I really got to do it. You can still feel older after the work.
I would do a shower and bring up a deep tap.
Oh, you know what's going
Flip it over.
Oh, that was great.
Beautiful. How do you feel about it? Does it feel good?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not for me, so it'll feel good in her hands. My hands
Oh,
are a
you
little too
making-
big for it.
You're making a knife for Amanda?
Yes, I am.
Oh. Well, that explains why she loves the handle material as much as she does.
She should. She picked it out.
Can you, when you're finished, can you just set it right there? Beautiful. Look at that. The spalting.
Like the KMZ. I didn't do a scotch spray in there. I actually took a book.
Beautiful.
I remember they cut the mustard here. Yeah, I've done that before too.
Very well done.
Thank you.
All right.
Which is going to be a hazy edge.
Right.
So what I did was I did the 320, the 400, the 600, the 800, and the 1000, and that kept the clean edge on the KMZ prototypes.
Okay.
I think it's because they're not squishy belts, like a Scotch Brite is.
Yeah.
So that will keep that clean edge that you got there. If you use a Scotch Brite, you're going to get a little bit hazier edge, but it's still going to look good.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the forge scale on this, but because I have some very micro scratches almost, but they shine through really well, I'm actually going to etch this after before my last belt. I'll etch this, and that will fill in those minor scratches with dark etch, and they'll just disappear that way. So that way I don't have to worry about making sure I don't mess up the
Don't
forge
bump
scale.
or ununintentionally like sand away a little too much.
Or just bump it against
Yeah.
something, and it'll scratch that off. So yeah, that's what we were talking about. But I'm just gonna get this bad boy balanced out.
All right. More bevel grinding.
More bevel grinding.
So wait.
Bevel grinding.
What is this?
What is
What
this?
is this?
This is the jig.
Okay. And what do you use that for?
So the jig is so that we can essentially do both sides of this and make sure that both sides of the blade then have an even bevel to it.
Okay.
Because
So walk me through the setup
Yeah.
here to get me an idea.
okay.
God, God forbid we make you talk about something you enjoy doing.
Yay. Okay, so how this works is what you want to do is establish your grind line. And really what you're doing is you're establishing your ricasso here and the angle related to the edge. So if you do, if you want this to be like this way, right, for an extreme example to make a point, you'd have to set your blade up like this. If you want it there, you want to set your blade up like this. So we find one of the pinholes, and then this is the rest, right, where it rests against it. So if I wanted a more extreme angle, like this, say, I would put this down here, and then I would get a more extreme angle on my blade as I ground it.
On your ricasso.
Yes, on my ricasso specifically, yep. So now, the other thing that happens is I have let's just say I've screwed it in here, and I know what this is, right? That fixes that angle. When I flip it to do the other side, I just put it in the opposite hole, and then it mirrors that angle on this side. So I make sure to get the same angle on both sides in relationship to the ricasso and the edge. The other thing the jig does is it establishes the vertical angle. You see here?
Mm-hmm.
So that way, here to here, we're going to make sure we get the same angle on both sides of our blade. Because if we don't, we end up with something like this, or something like this, and what we really want is something like this.
So the whole purpose of the jig is essentially to make sure that everything on both sides ends up even.
Yeah, because if you have a blade that's like this, if you cut through something, it's going to drift to one side. It's always going to drift to the side that's easier to cut through. This angle is easier for material to pass through than this angle is. So you want to make sure you have the same angle on both sides.
And sometimes having that kind of a grind on a knife is important, and sometimes it's important that you don't have that kind of grind.
It's important that it's always equal. This is okay, this is okay, but this is not.
Okay.
Right? So if you've ever watched Forge and Fire, when they do the bottle cut or the apple cut, you can see knives as they cut through. It drifts up and down. That's because as they're cutting, this bottom angle is more obtuse than the top angle, and it pushes it out of the material. So it's important for that to be even, to get a good even cut. If you're slicing through food, especially something softer, if you slice through a tomato, it's gonna push that to one side, and then you're gonna get an uneven slice. So that's especially important when we do kitchen knives, to make really, really precise angles to make sure you get a nice smooth cut. And sometimes that's why, you know, you can spend $500, $600, $700, $800 on a kitchen knife.
And that's really it, is you're spending so much time making sure that this angle lines up with this angle.
Yeah. This kitchen knife is a good example. I spent days making sure that this angle was flat, that these two surfaces were flat, and that they met right in the middle. I spent days doing this. Just like that. Because in a kitchen knife, it's got to be straight.
So moral of the story is, the reason that we use the jig is because we want to make sure that our blades are as symmetrical as possible.
Symmetry.
That both edges, whether you use it left-handed or right-handed, that you're going to be able to cut as evenly and as best as possible.
Now you'll see some people freehand, and how they do it freehand is they'll establish the center of the blade, right? With either they'll score the center of the blade part, and then they'll establish a curve down here to the bottom of the bevel, and as long as you hit the center, and you have the same bevel length, you will, by math, have symmetry. So we use the bevel, we use the jig to kind of replace all that rigmarole.
All
So
right.
that's all about.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
But because he doesn't have it in place, they award it. Right, that makes sense. The only time he can see it is he's got to go through a smart side. So what he does is he'll
12 minutes.
go over. 12 minutes. He'll go over to her house and she's at work. Oh. And it's just him and his son playing video games.
Dad's out here cleaning up a template based on Jason's knife.
Well, based on one of my knives that Jason got for me.
You know what? Just give the man his due, all right?
Yes, I'm protective of my blade. Don't worry. But yes, I should have gotten the template back then, and I did not. So now I am, because I want to make more of these, and then you have to actually deal with them.
Oh no, more knives to sell.
Can't tell if I got close to the top or like, if I still have a little bit more weight.
No, flip it.
Flip it, bro.
That's looking good, sir.
I'm trying to be out of your way.
You're right.
I'm in your way.
I never have a problem when you are. Okay. And then she swears up and down, he was still around with his hip. Oh, I try to talk to it, but then I want to talk to you because I know I'm friends with his ex and I know exactly how she feels about it. So I could have told her, no, it didn't happen. Right. So she doesn't want to talk to me. His ex wanted to call her and say, hey, I was at work, I wasn't there. And she doesn't want to talk to her. Even his son wanted to tell her, hey, Dad was just playing video games. So she's not having it. So, yeah, that's yep, that's what I told him. I said, that's why, up until I'm at Amanda, I'll pay for your own knowledge, and I don't have to depend on nobody's for real, and I don't have to deal with more than
We're getting there.
more than things for mine, more than things for
We're working on the other side of your bevel grind.
Yeah, we're gonna flip her over. We're on a 120 grit still. Yep. Just getting there.
Can we, real quick, nice and slow, I just want to see that. All right, let's flip it over. Oh wow, they're real close.
Yep. So a little more work on that side right there. Yes, sir? Then you can see right here how that's taking that off. So what we want to do is just want to move that up, right?
Yep.
Is what we're working to accomplish right now.
So you're working on your secondary bevel right
Correct.
now.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep. But before you do this one, let me know. We'll check it with drill bit index.
Okay.
Okay? But 3/16, 3/16, 5/16. And don't disregard your lines. Get it lined up wherever you want, but use this as your starting point.
Okay.
And then you can adjust this. If you do this one first, you can adjust this one to get whatever faulting you want. And if it's easier to do it from this side, because you don't have those marks, then go ahead and do it. Whatever works best for you. Okay? I saw that and I approved. Because
You
otherwise
saw
I wouldn't
nothing.
have to drink it.
You saw nothing.
This is not the bourbon you were looking
This is not the bourbon you are looking for. All right.
Don't figure the trick so much. Make sure you put it all flat, not stick to the phone. Right, so what that do is just, this one works right here, right? Yeah. So, that's, you're moving like, nope. So what you can do is start in the middle. I want to work on the back half. I'm just going to kind of come in like this. Right. And then when I'm ready, I'll blend in the whole thing.
What I think was, tell me if I'm right or wrong, I was watching what we did. For example, I know I gotta work this more than here, right?
Yep.
So what I
But
did,
you actually did a good job. Because look at the overall thickness. Before, it was thickest to kind of have it be uniform all the way down the length. All right. So you're already
5 minutes.
improving what you've been doing.
Guys, 5
I
minutes.
know I gotta work a little more here than here, right?
Yep.
So let me ask you, if I'm doing the right thing.
All right. Show me.
Okay, so I know I gotta hit this hard. So I'm avoiding a component at an angle. Should I do that or not do that?
Show me. Just show me.
So I'm going to like that.
What are you looking for?
Keep it moving.
And then I'll go back.
Yeah. And anytime you stop on a spot or hit a spot,
You talking to me?
Oh, I was talking to him. No, you're good. What are you working on though, Jason?
I was crowding the blade a little bit, so I cut it back some. And now I have to reprofile this area and rebuff it prior to gluing.
so that's why you want to keep it moving instead of sitting. Otherwise, you're doing it a lot better today than I'm only doing after and it's showing by the fact that this is much more uniform along the edge than it has been in the past. Okay. Keep doing what you're doing.
Charles, Dad.
Yeah. 5 minutes. Hurry.
Holy crap.
I would go to 120 and I would still let this angle. See where it leads you. Because I think this blade looks badass. Even if you end up 3/4 the way. I think 3/4 the way.
All right, I'm gonna go check the comments one more time and make sure if anybody has any last comments, please. Now is the time. Any last comments or questions? You got 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Oh, guys, stay tuned. We got a bunch of file knives coming out that are just kind of really freaking cool. I'm going to grab a couple of the commissions actually real quick here.
Okay. So this one has the hay color that we're looking for. You guys can tell now. This one looks slightly off yellow. This one has the yellow color.
So these are actually a commission, and they were requested. So these were actually farrier's rasps beforehand, and they were actually from a person who does shoes for horses, a horseshoe farrier. And
I think that's the only kind of barrier.
yeah, so these are amazing. I jokingly call these my Phoenix blades because it's second life for the blade, right? So you start with a, I don't know why you're doing this.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Not you.
Okay.
It's for everybody
I was
else.
very confused.
Yeah, it's
So
for
these are
everybody else.
outtakes, by the way, guys. But so I used to actually do a bunch of blades. I called it my Phoenix line because it was second life for the steel. And these are metal files. I don't know if you can see the lines in there a whole lot.
But we'll carry the bevels about halfway to 3/4 of the way up, and then you'll see the gradient kind of like on this as it kind of goes from monosteel up to the cut lines from the file. But these are amazing. I just love being able to give stuff a second life. Coil springs, leaf springs, files are my favorite. And yeah, so these are going to be, watch out for these. These are going to be beautiful when they're done. I'll be posting pics of them. All right, looks like we need to maybe grab our bourbons and wrap things up here for
Here's the bottle.
the 8 o'clock finish. I think it's upstairs.
You want to take this for a minute?
Yeah, I'll take it
that.
for a minute.
Take that for a minute.
Yep, and I will actually walk around and see how things are going. What you got going on here, Mr. Wallace?
Well, I just did my 2 3/16.
Oh, you did both of them?
You told me to do the first one, right? 2
Yeah,
3/16.
yeah, okay, we'll talk about that.
You just told me to do it.
One at a time, drop a pin, then the next one.
Yeah, just
You remember now? What did we do for your EDC? What did we do? Okay, but we overbored those holes, so it should be fine. So next step is going to be to make sure you can fit the pin into one of the holes, then drop it in, we'll run the pin through again, okay? Or run the drill bit through again. Wolf, no problem. I'm just giving you crap. How are we looking here, Mr. Danathan?
We're looking pretty good. I think I'm just trying to, I'm on 120 grit now. I'm trying to even out
I
these two bevels.
love that contrast.
Right?
From the forge scale to the
Yeah,
edge. That's
it's gonna be
beautiful.
Nice. And,
I can't wait to see that
yeah,
finished.
it's gonna be cool.
Awesome. How high are you going to carry that up?
I don't know. So here's what I'm gonna do. Is I think this edge is too thin, or is too thick.
Yep, I agree.
Because cutting performance is often the thickness behind the edge, not just the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know you know this, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it naturally come towards the center.
Mm-hmm.
And the further this comes toward this bevel comes towards the center, the deeper it'll get.
Yep.
So I'll stop when I get an edge thickness that I want.
I hear you. That's what I do too.
Let the steel tell me where it
Yep.
wants to
And never apologize for giving information.
That's right.
That's right. All right. How are we wrapping up here, Mr. Jason? Ah, you took my suggestion.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I took it down a little bit.
Awesome. That looks great, man.
Guys, we're wrapping up. Yes, ma'am.
All right, Brian, how are we looking here for wrapping up, sir? That looks absolutely great.
We got it.
Nice. How you feel about that?
You know, I feel good. But the nice thing is that I know more now what to look for.
Yep.
So if you know what to look for, it makes life a little easier. You know what I mean?
We'll get together this weekend and get that ready for handles too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Don't have too far to go for a handle yet.
No, you don't. You're almost there. It's basically just polishing it now.
Right.
That's looking really good, man.
Cool.
Well, not having any, Jason does not have a bourbon either.
Product placement. Boom. Larceny, reach out to us. We want to talk to you. All right, I'm going to give this back to you here. Yeah, it's slowing down. It takes forever. There you go.
All right, guys. I'm gonna check the last comment. Steve McMillan, your brother, says nice. All right, everybody gather.
Yes, ma'am.
That's an empty cup. Everybody gather the things that you've been working on.
Let's gather up like a flock of chickens.
Gather the stuff you've been working on.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's first? Who's ready for me?
Actually, I just went through and did that.
Well, now we get the quiet version.
Yes, that's true.
The quiet
So
version.
this is a commission that I got, little shop knife,
Yeah.
general utility.
Oh, this is bourbon.
So
Okay.
just getting the bevels established, and we'll go from there.
That's a personal carry. This is being made for someone, but I don't want to say too much.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
That's why I had to give him a Scotta clause too.
Right, but actually, there's This is in triplet, so there's 3 of these being made. We'll handle them up different, but yes, absolutely. So a little bit more bevel work to do, and it's ready for a handle.
All right, Jason.
I gotta hold this down.
Jason, what do you got?
I have a knife I'm working on from my wife.
Oh,
Still need sand or glue and get ready for sanding and
That looks
final
like
prep on the blade.
That looks like it's ready for epoxy, man.
Yeah,
Nice
epoxy
work.
and then grinding down and then Wallace.
I put some holes in my block. Yeah, this guy's get hollowed out a bit more because it's not all the way through.
Yeah.
But I don't think I Pugio'd myself.
I have actually been
But it's going to be a little more difficult. So
It's okay. We'll work through it, man.
we'll work through it.
All right.
So I did a lot of moving around to assist people and such today, but I did want to give my friend Nick an update on his commission here. This is the final of 3.
Fucking Nick.
I know, right?
I don't even like Nick.
But we got
He's a big cheater.
we got it epoxied, and I'm ready to clip the pins and do the handle work, and then we're going to get that engraved for you, sir. So it is the daddy version of the Navaja for you, right? So
And you know, it sounds weird when you say it's the daddy version, but when I've sit here and watched you make the smaller versions
Right.
of those knives, it's endearing when you say that he's made all these little knives for his daughters.
right. So this is the daddy version. This is for first dates for the daughters, and this is the daughter version for those same first dates. So yes,
Yeah, and he's a Marine.
right, exactly.
Yeah, which means he really likes crayons.
Very true. They love crayons.
Ouch. All right, so shall
all
we
right.
go ahead? Guys, you ready to
Gentlemen.
wrap this up? Let's say goodbye
Gentlemen.
to everyone.
okay.
Get it together.
Yes, man. Ooh, I better hang on to that.
Yep,
Larceny.
Product placement. So hopefully Larceny is going to be watching this at some point because we keep hashtagging him. But
Doing it.
guys, Tribe, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We love having you here. I want to shout out to the. Okay, so my daughter's doing this because I'm not
Speak louder.
projecting enough.
Speak
apparently.
louder.
Yep. So I need to project more, and I apologize. Just be quiet.
Pretend you're on the stage.
But yeah, so first of all, I want to say thanks to Muskoka Trainer once again. All the wonderful handles that you give us, and frankly, it feeds my sadistic pleasure in having my workshop people pick a handle or think they picked the handle, and then I show them more stuff from you. So yeah, it's wonderful. You guys need handles? Go to John Bryant at Muskoka Trainer. Custom engravers, thank you so much for all the maker's marks for myself and for my Smiths. I love the custom work that you do. And
Brian, come scooch in a little bit more. You don't got to be afraid.
I'm very confused. Okay.
That's one thing I'm
So-
not as afraid.
All right. So custom engravers, definitely if you're local here or if you want to ship them stuff, they do amazing work. And Brandy and Chris are absolutely a joy to work with. Phoenix Abrasives, Greg Magnuson. They've got a new website out, so go check it out. PhoenixAbrasives.com. He actually has a code out there, I believe, that if you use the code, which is, we'll post it, but he posted it on his Facebook page as well. You'll get like a percentage off of your next order. Alabama Damascus, always American-made Damascus. I've worked with them for years. Amazing stuff. Just got a new build in today, so stay tuned for more of our Damascus plates because they're coming. We'll be displaying them. Cinder Rose, if you need leather work done, they do amazing work. I wish I had a picture of the
Not
messenger
just
bag.
sheaths. I was
Not
going to
just
say, not
sheaths.
just sheaths.
I know.
They do
Bags.
messenger
Shush,
bags.
Shush.
They do, yeah.
Because I used to wife.
They
did
make
a-
cars. They make motorcycles.
God, my scooters.
Kill him. Kill him.
I can't even do a take two because this is live.
Ah.
But they just had a messenger bag that was absolutely amazing for my wife. And they do sheaths for knives and sharp pointy things. And of course, last but not least, Larceny. Larceny keeps people's lives safe.
Yes.
You don't
In
know how
my
many people
world,
you've saved.
just as much as coffee does. So, Larceny, we love you. Thank you for making people safe for us. And on that note,
18th and 19th at the show.
Oh, yeah.
yes, thank
Holland.
you. We're going to be out of the barn, their fall show, which is in Holland at the Holland Civic Center, 18th and 19th. 18th, I believe, is the girls'
4
night out.
to 8. And
4 to
then
8, yep. And then
Saturday
8 to
is
4.
8 to 4.
Yes. So apparently I need help with this, guys.
It's Friday 8 to 12.
Friday?
Friday, and it's 4 a.m. to 12 p.m.
On Canner Day.
That's ladies' night.
And Dan falls down dead.
All right.
Anyway, Tribe, thank you so much for tuning in again. I can't control these guys, and I wouldn't want to.
This is
So
our Burby.
have a wonderful day, and a wonderful evening, and stay bladed.
Stay bladed. Thank you.